This is the Onion News Network.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you?
Yeah, everybody, welcome to Copblock Radio. All hosts are considered innocent until guilty in the court of law. This is Matt of the Freedom Paradox. How y'all doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Great, man.
You doing good tonight?
Oh, yeah. Hey, we've also got ourselves a special guest host. Shout yourself out, my friend.
That's right. It's Niz from FPRN Radio's Disassociation Nation.
And
this
as
is
always,
Severin Freeman from the Freedom Paradox.
from the Freeman Paradox.
The Freeman Paradox, yeah, that thing. The Freedom Paradox.
Oh, man. So, how have you guys, how's your guys' weeks been?
Busy.
Amen.
Extremely busy.
Yeah,
You
know what?
had some awesome stuff, man. I'm so jealous you got that little motorized toy now to ride around town on, zip around town on.
Yeah, I've got to record or fix the back of it, but you know what? I'm loving it because I can get around this town now whenever I need to, and I don't have to pay any taxes, be licensed, to have insurance, to ride the thing. I can do it without being underneath their net.
Just make sure you have a fully charged cell phone at all times, because I will be waiting for the day that I get a live stream from you. They're messing with you.
Mm-hmm.
But
The thing's
yeah,
completely legal, so they can't play.
I
I've
was
got
actually-
a speedometer on the thing, so because I know that you can't go over 25 miles an hour with one of these things, or no, you're not supposed to. Well, I've even got a speedometer on the thing, so I can't go past their little, their little law that they've even made for that, or their little rule. I wouldn't even say it's a law; it's just a rule. It's like an ordinance.
I was in the newspaper this past weekend, Sunday paper.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Making
Tell us about
headlines.
Yeah, making headlines, but they did everything in their journalistic ability to never mention my activism or even my name.
Oh, I think I read that.
It's pretty funny. The guy interviewed me for like an hour on 2 different occasions and asked me all about my activism, all about everything, and then he runs an article basically just addressing the fact that a citizen was fighting the city currently in court.
Well,
over
here's
a
my
right to
question. Here's my question, though, because you know that's just a hierarchy itself there. So my real question is, do you think it was the author himself, or do you think like your name was all over the story and who you are and what you do? He submits it to his editor, and his editor's like, no.
The
we
red
don't give
pen
this
just
guy
comes
credit.
out.
Yeah,
Starts
he's
crossing
like,
stuff out.
yeah, he's just like, get rid of this guy completely. He's like, you can make it about a cat, you can't make it about him.
They've
Like
done
anything
that
else.
before, though. I mean, even when we were interviewed by the Morning Call, and they managed to just call us a group of community members speaking out or something like that. We weren't Oath Accountability or Copblock at the time. We weren't anything like that. We were just a group of community members speaking out.
Yeah, it was like, you could put me on your front page, but you can't tell them where I'm from and who I am. Like, cool, okay, I get you.
They just, it's part of the media.
You're welcome, media. You can whore me out.
I personally don't get it. They only cover the protests that they feel like covering. If it works for their agenda, they'll cover it.
And they do that everywhere. I mean, just look at what's coming across Fox News right now. They're trying to basically say that there's going to be a riot, prior to one being. So people are like, oh, there's going to be a riot, and get in that mentality so there becomes a riot.
Yep.
That's how it happens.
Well, I don't know if you were watching the streams I was sharing last night, but
Oh, absolutely.
top stories tonight, Charlotte broke out into chaos last night after an officer shot another African-American man.
Prove me wrong, but I believe that another one has been shot today.
No, I didn't even hear about it.
I got something from Rick earlier. He was saying that they were out, and then out of nowhere they got word that another person had been shot, and they all
I
started
saw what was
hauling
going
towards
on
it.
in Charlotte live on Facebook live streams, and so did close to 100,000 other people. But it was not being reported honestly. What was happening was there was a small group of people that decided to light something on fire and rip off a truck that was stuck in the traffic, and they made it like the entire protesting group was becoming violent. That's not what was happening, but that's how the police reacted. That's most certainly how the police reacted. You saw the police were coming in, shooting tear gas at the people, and the people that weren't moving fast enough were getting hit and beat by the police. The police actually, live on video, were roughing up the car that the guy that was streaming the video was in, like hitting the car as he was trying to get away.
So, okay.
They came in looking for blood.
Hold
you
up,
can
hold
always
up.
tell. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Coming in at 9:57 p.m., the person who was killed at a violent protest in Charlotte was shot by another civilian. The North Carolina city tweeted on its official account. Charlotte police did not fire the shot, the tweet said. But there is no video at this time. There is no body camera at this time. There is no word coming out that if they were at the call or if it's just happened and then they responded to it. I don't know anything else that is coming off of this, but there was the shooting yesterday, and then there's this that's popping up just now coming in.
Well, of course, the media is pushing really hard the fact
yeah, that's coming straight off of CNN, so you know that that's getting some heavy spin.
16 police officers were injured. That's a heavy spin because what I saw was police officers aggressing toward people, and if an injury happened while they were pushing and beating up on people. From what I'm reading, the injuries were all minor, so that's probably those injuries. Or them roughing people up and hurting themselves. Oops, you hurt my fist. Your face hurt my fist, kind of thing.
Well, I was seeing tear gas being used at one point in that video.
Yeah, absolutely. They were shooting tear gas off.
Now, I got a story from somebody earlier today that was actually talking about Chicago. Did you hear anything coming out of Chicago? Either one of you two?
No, I was.
Okay,
I've been pretty.
So
focused
apparently,
on the North Carolina.
because there's so much violence in Chicago, that's their excuse. So much violence that instead of trying to look at the way that they do things now and see if there's a better way to go about things, they've just decided, you know what, let's throw more bodies at it. So they've hired an additional 100 police officers to spread around all these precincts, just inside the greater Chicago area.
You know what that means? You know what that means? That means more people are going to be in Holman Square. That's what that means.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, because, with the more that they hire, the more that they corrupt. And that's just an unfortunate thing, but it's a truth. And considering that Chicago itself is just so shrouded in the tar on their face that they got from Holman Square and just so many other things that have been coming out of that area, that you think maybe instead of hiring a brand new set and keeping the old ones on, maybe you should replace the ones that you had, because right now you've got shit just trying to throw some more stuff on it. Sorry about that.
Well, we have some other news I want to get to before we get to the break. News right from us. We've been telling all the fans that we're building up to starting a new show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I reported that. It was 1,000 police officers, not 100, 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I read it wrong.
Well, we've been reporting to the fans that there's a lot of changes and a lot of things going on with a new radio show taking off on LRN. And we have our official start date. And today, we're sorry to say this will be our last episode of Copblock Radio. I believe LRN will be running reruns until the new year, where Adamo Freeman, Copblock.org co-founder, and Josh Hotchkins, Copblock contributor, are going to be picking up the show at the same time slot. But me and Matt will be on Friday nights. Coming this November 4th will be our first show. Friday nights at 10 p.m. will be our new time slot. We're going to be the Freedom Paradox Radio Show, and we will have the same guests that you've gotten used to in the last few months. Niz, you're gonna be coming over on a regular, right?
Oh, for sure.
We're gonna have Paul Gordon, your other half from your other show, and rotating
Good
guests.
old Paulie.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Guys, it's great when something grows and it gets to split off and new projects start, able to reach new people. So We'll be right back with more after this commercial break. We've got plenty more stories tonight on Copblock Radio.
Brian here from ReachAround.com, and I have a question for you. Are you a person with a lot of balls in the tri-state area? Well, you're in luck. Open this week in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania's Bob's Ball Bag Wonder Emporium. They are filled wall-to-wall with ball bags of every shape and size. Do you have small balls, large balls, awkwardly shaped balls? Well, my friend, it doesn't matter, because at Bob's Ball Bag Wonder Emporium, they have the right bag to cradle all of your balls. Make sure to mention this ad to receive 45% off of all your ball handling needs on your next visit at Bob's Ball Bag Wonder Emporium.
Yeah. Welcome back. This is Copblock Radio. So we have another story revolving around the news and protests happening around the country. The Kaepernick debacle, as it's being called in most circles.
Number 7, Colin Kaepernick.
The idea that taking a knee during the national anthem is a form of protest that is speaking out, that people are picking up on. People are really, really enjoying expressing themselves in this way. Well, the NFL has been more than supportive, I think. They haven't really done anything to try to sanction these guys. So it's been a nice peaceful protest so far. So of course, what's the next thing that's going to happen when you see your heroes doing something as a form of protest?
What's
Here
going to
come
happen?
the death threats.
No, when you see your heroes as a kid, you see your favorite football player.
Well, yeah,
your
you're going to start doing this
baseball
at
player.
school.
You want to do this too. You're
yeah.
like, okay, this is
Yeah, this is messed up. I agree with them. They make good points. They're my
Right.
heroes. You know, I agree. Let's take a knee too.
Well, the schools aren't having it, guys. Schools are publicly owned. They're not a private organization. It's public school. So out of New Jersey, there is a superintendent of the Diocese of Camden sent a letter to his school stating that any player who did not show respect during the national anthem would be subject to suspension. He said, in light of the recent controversy regarding the NFL players' refusal to stand at the national anthem, I seek to clarify the position of the Office of Catholic Schools. I ask that this be communicated to those listed above. Our schools are founded on the teaching of respect and honor to God, country, and duly appointed authority. Whoa. This is some scary stuff, guys. It's no longer just like doing the Pledge of Allegiance and like opting out. Like, they're actually going to suspend kids who choose to peacefully protest.
Respect my authority.
Now, I thought that this was just bad enough, but when I read that this was the diocese, my opinion kind of shifted, because you're not forced to go to the diocese school. That is a private institution ran by the Catholic Church. You have to sign your kids up for this.
Separation of church and state, my booty.
You have to submit to the church's rules when you're in there. You have to submit to certain levels of discipline. You're agreeing to basically turn your kids over to the church to be schooled.
Correct.
So these parents are willingly doing this. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have too big of an opinion on that until I looked into this a little farther. And a school in Florida, a public school in Florida, Orange County Public Schools announced this week that their students must have parental permission if they want to take a knee during the national anthem games. The move comes after students in at least one school district reported taking a knee in solidarity with 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick against social injustice in America. District officials said that they were following a state law regarding the Pledge of Allegiance, a strict and controversial statute that requires unadulterated participation in patriotic gestures. Now, so what they're saying is, in Orange County, there's a statute in place right now on the books that says that respect to the flag is mandatory, and it's a state law that they can actually be in trouble for. So they're not looking at suspension in Florida. They're looking at criminal charges for taking a knee and not showing the proper respect to the leader's symbol.
What criminal charges?
So what do you guys think of this? I mean, is this Does this sound like a free country to you? Does this sound like the free country that I was taught about in school? It doesn't sound like to me what I heard about the land of the free, home of the brave, pursuit of happiness, the whole 9 yards of propaganda you learn in public school. Are you guys there?
Wow. What just happened? Yeah, man, that's really crazy. I mean, that definitely sounds like something that comes out of North Korea or communist China. It's really crazy.
Absolutely, yeah. Like when you look at North Korea and you look at like Kim Jong Un and like the leaders that dictate what needs to be done there, and every parade has to revolve around this one person, and there are laws in place that say you must be happy toward your leader, you must worship your leader. That's what this is. That's what this is reminiscent of.
Yeah, it absolutely. It really is crazy when you see these. You know what? What's unfortunate is that in these like that Catholic, I think you said Diocese of Camden, there,
yes,
in New Jersey, Severin.
Yes.
What's unfortunate is that they don't have someone like me in that school, because if I was a student there, what I would be doing right now is I would be going around rallying all of my fellow students to support the free speech, and at this point it would cease to become a protest of solidarity with the NFL, become a protest of solidarity between the student body, free speech, and I'd have it would suspend the entire school. The entire school district would have to be suspended, because I'd have everybody taking a knee at that point. The worst thing you could possibly do something, because I'm going to do it.
Well, I just recently filed a long appeal about arguing with my city about records that are supposed to be turned over to me. And part of the argument that I had, I think, is a really good argument, and I want to point it out. And that's that these bodies, these entities, these elected officials are supposed to be representing the public's interest and what the public's desire is overall. A mass majority of the public is supposed to represent what these people are doing. So when one of them takes a stance against a court order and a public decision and things like needing to worship a flag and things like that, like what they're basically doing is taking themselves out of their position as elected officials and making themselves individuals who no longer carry the authority to wield their power over us. And I think that somebody needs to make this legal argument in court, and I'm looking forward to the judge reading my argument and seeing what he says to it, because my argument basically is they don't have a legal ground to argue with me at this point. They are not an entity that can argue. They have already given themselves to the public's interest, and the public has asked for these records.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they have an obligation. I mean, according to their law, they have to.
According to not even their law, according to their oath, that they raise a hand and swear to their God in front of everybody that this is what I will represent and this is what I will defend, the Constitution, the rights of the people.
Well, okay, but you know what? We're still talking about this being in schools, and if you're under the assumption that schools are anything but a zone to indoctrinize, kids to go a certain way so they can be controlled later when they become full-fledged adults, you're kind of insane. That's exactly what schools are for. I mean, if we were really teaching our kids some real education, maybe it would be a little bit different, but you can see that we are not going that way. We are trying to make our kids smart enough to do one section of one job. So anyways, join us back in a few moments when we come back with Copblock Radio.
Copblock Radio? Hi, I'm Sam from blowitup.com. Are you a member of a small law enforcement department? Do you feel jealous, inferior, and sometimes angry when your neighboring town gets a Bearcat or a grenade launcher? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's time to level the playing field with the dick measuring contest. Recent federal government regulations have allowed for federal tax dollars to buy even your small department as much military gear as you guys can handle carrying. No need for training, low crime rate, or anything like that to hold you back. Here at blowitup.com, our motto is when it comes to officer safety, it's best to blow something up rather than question it. We have an array of blast range packages from He's Coming Right For Us to shock and awe. Get on over to blowitup.com and feel safe again. Welcome back. Welcome
Yo, yo.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I don't think we'll ever be able to shake doing that anymore. Like, it's so
Forever.
ingrained. Yeah, it is so ingrained. It happened once, and it's happened almost every episode since.
We can't help it. It's the same thing. It's like that Copblock Radio.
Copblock Radio.
I think when we move on to our new show, we're going to accidentally slip out during the commercial breaks and do that a few times.
So, Niz, you, sir, have yourself a story to bring us.
Yeah, I have a cool little thing here for us to talk about a little bit. We can get into some of the ramifications, consequences, and possible implications of some of this. I found this article in Science Daily, and it's dated September 21st, 2016, so this is new. This is very new.
Okay.
And it deals with targeted memory erasure. Did you ever see that movie? What was it? Jim Carrey was in it. The something or other, the Sunshine Mind.
Eternal Sunshine
Eternal
of a Spotless Mind. That was a good movie.
That's it. Okay, so
Sad, but good.
it's these brain scientists at the Brain and Behavior Discovery Institute at the Medical College of Georgia School of Medicine have developed a procedure to target and erase memories. And this article starts out here with the first paragraph. Targeted memory erasure is no longer limited to the realm of science fiction. A new study describes a method through which a selected set of memories can be rapidly and specifically erased from a mouse's brain in a controlled and inducible manner. New and old memories have been selectively and safely removed from mice by scientists.
Okay, so if they're releasing that now, that means the government's had it for the last 10 years. So, let's just be real about that. You know, this reminds me of that movie, The Paycheck. Okay, now this was a movie with Ben Affleck, and basically he was paid by companies to steal other companies' technology. And once he was done with his contract, they erased the entire time he spent doing it, so he wouldn't be able to ever be liable for something. He couldn't ever dime somebody out. But at the same
duplicate what he had done for them.
Exactly. And it makes you think, like, is that the way that we're going? Is that what they're trying to do?
Well, I mean, as with anything in the science community, it always starts out as something benevolent, innocent and benevolent with the best intentions until the government gets a hold of it, until the military gets a hold of it, and then they determine how to make it a weapon.
My whole thing comes in is Jeff Goldblum quote. You know, they were so busy, concerning themselves if they could, they never stopped and asked themselves if they should. You know, what in God's name does that have any relevance for? Like, erasing somebody's memory, what relevance is that like, what can you do with that technology that's gonna be good? There's nothing good for that.
The first place that this article goes to is post-traumatic stress for war veterans. That's the first place that they go to.
Well, hell, if you can just get anybody to go and pull the trigger and make them forget it.
Yeah,
You-
then
you
you're
got
just
an endle-
then
you have
you
an
are
endless supply of
literally
murderers.
just making killing machines that you can, after they're done with their service, you just delete it.
Yeah, it's
Then
another,
they have.
another, it's another,
You know
another way of-
how quickly accountability goes right out the window, and you can just delete somebody's mission. Like, yeah,
Well,
go kill these women and children, but when you come back, you won't remember anything. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna pay you money.
And it goes even further. It goes even further than that. I mean, this when you're talking about erasing memories that would cause post-traumatic stress in veterans. I mean, those are natural reactions to phenomena. Those are consequences of things that you do, and they're inborn in human beings because it's a deterrent.
Right.
It's a deterrent. When you start to desensitize people, it makes it easier to do these things. And when there's no consequence, you don't have to worry about the nightmares and the sleepless nights. Then you're willing to do anything.
Okay, but then I also sit back and think about, there are millions and millions
what
and millions
about-
of dollars that are being spent year-round to try to battle things like dementia and stuff like that, and diseases that make Alzheimer's, things that make you lose your memory. And now there's science trying to make that absolutely something that they can
They're trying to make it
control.
on demand.
Yeah, like on-demand
Where does
memory
it end?
deletion is
Can,
just scary.
Where does it end? We already have gene manipulation where they can try to manipulate if you have a boy or a girl before you have the baby. Next, it will be memory manipulation. Who knows? Are they going to, instead of sentencing people to prison for crimes, are they going to put them through mental rehabilitation where they reprogram their brains to be more compliant? Where does this end?
Like I can
Once you crack
understand
that egg, once you crack the brain egg, which is an egg for overall purposes, we have not been able to crack as a species. We know what a brain is. We know what it does. We can really see a lot. We know a lot more than we used to know. But we still, as a species, have not been able to crack how a brain overall functions and makes a body do what it does. How a brain makes a body
How is it making
alive.
us sitting here doing what we're doing right now? How
Exactly.
does
That
make
process
happen?
is unreplicatable in science. Once that barrier is broken, the uniqueness of the human experience is gone. Done. Yep. You will just be nothing but printed out replicants of whatever they want you to be.
Well, see, yeah, exactly. Because if this gets big enough, you don't think that they can have whole wars and just be like, okay, you know what, screw it. If they want to live, they have to erase it. If they don't want to have their memory erased, end them. Let's just start this whole thing over and make sure it goes right this time, so everybody doesn't just destroy themselves.
Talk about the victor writes the history books.
Right? You just erase it. Like
we were talking last week about the possibility of robots and artificial intelligence being the police. Let's go a step away from that. Let's say organic, bred human beings that are grown in a lab that are programmed to be soldiers. Nothing more than law enforcement or soldiers or killers, whatever the government wants them to be. Because that's where you're stepping once you start manipulating brains.
I'll take you one step further down this crazy rabbit hole. And have you heard of a company called Revitalife Sciences or BioQuark Incorporated?
No, it sounds like it's right out of Resident Evil.
Well, wait, because this is spectacularly crazy.
Okay.
They have been granted ethical permission to recruit 20 patients who have been declared clinically dead from traumatic brain injury to test whether parts of their central nervous systems can be brought back to life.
Damn it, no. This is where it all goes wrong. This is where it all goes wrong.
This is RoboCop. This is the beginning of RoboCop
that's right.
right
This
here.
is reported by the Telegraph.
That's
Okay.
the beginning of Ned or Ed, whatever. Not Ed.
At 209.
Yeah.
You have 10 seconds to comply.
Well, that's what it was. It was dead. It started out with people in a coma that were about to die. They said, okay, well, they have no value of life, and their life is worth nothing. So let's sign it away. It doesn't have to. They don't have to have any right.
Let's buy their corpse. Yeah. But you know what? Let's go back to the memory wipe real quick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go down a different rabbit hole, because you sit there and you think, okay, how would this be administered? I would assume it's chemically done. I really would. And if it's not, and it's really just like actually getting to that point.
It's a laser.
And if it's like a laser, exactly. Well, if it's something like that, they have crazy technology out there, considering that there are things like nanobots. You're telling me that they can't, like honestly, I really believe that if, they really wanted to, they could get these things to go in and do exactly what they needed it to do, just flip a switch, and we all just turn off.
And you were right. You were right in that assessment that they've developed a powerful chemical genetic method that allows them to use a pharmacological inhibitor to instantly turn on and off specific genes that help to preserve memories.
Why fight a war when you can turn them all off and walk in and just take it over?
Scary.
We'll be
scary
right
stuff.
back with more after these commercial breaks.
Wesley here from TacticalNut.com with an exciting new product for all your law enforcement needs. Do you need a 36-round shotgun? Alright. Do you need a rocket launcher? Well, it's in the mail. Or do you just need an IH-64 Apache Longbow twin-engine attack helicopter? Well, my friend, it's excessive by my standards, but consider it done. That way, next time the little old lady calls your unit about a raccoon in the garbage, you show up with all the force required to put the fear of God in the rodent by raining down shells of justice. So head on over to TacticalNut.com and start protecting America today.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back to Copblock Radio. We are at our final segment till the top of the hour. This is Matt of the Freedom Paradox.
This is Severin of the Freedom Paradox.
And I'm Niz from FPRN's Disassociation Nation.
And this is Copblock Radio. Hey, guys, don't forget that on November 4th, we're going to be switching over to Friday nights. We're going to be launching off the Freedom Paradox. It's going to be an awesome new show. You can already feel our new vibe and how we're going to be rolling into that new show. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys should come check us out over there. But the show is going to remain here on Wednesdays for Copblock Radio. It's kind of going to go into syndication, so you're going to hear some older stuff, but it's all ramping up until Ademo Freeman and Josh Hoskins take over at the beginning of the year. So don't worry. The show's going to keep rolling on. We're just going to go and try ourselves a brand new project. We want you guys to come check that out. It's going to be here on LRN. So make sure that you keep your ears open and listen for our promos, because they're going to tell you what you're going to be listening to and where you can find us. So, yeah. Niz, you said you had yourself another story.
Yeah. Actually, this one is this one's a little crazy, man. This is from Liberty Blitzkrieg.
Crazier than reprogramming the mouse brains so that they can do the government.
Have you seen
bidding.
the movie Minority Report?
Yes.
I have.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm leaning into my
Pennsylvania
mic for this
is
one.
slated to become
Of course,
the
it's
first state
Pennsylvania.
to use pre-crime statistics in criminal sentencing.
Wait.
They said that based on the work that the commission has done so far, that they're leaning towards using this pre-crime tool to identify outliers and low-risk individuals to defer prison altogether, and high-risk individuals to flag for extra time or treatment. Criminal sentencing has long been based on present crime and sometimes the defendant's past criminal records. But Pennsylvania judges could soon be considering the future. Pennsylvania is on the verge of becoming one of the first states in the country to base criminal sentences not only on what crimes people have been convicted of, but also whether they are deemed likely to commit additional crimes in the future.
Jersey does it.
This article is saying that as early as next year, which would mean late 2016, early 2017, right around now, judges could be receiving statistically derived tools known as risk assessments to help them decide how much prison time to assign.
Jersey
That's
does
crazy.
it. Jersey definitely did that
Pennsylvania,
first.
Pennsylvania is already doing something crazy, okay? Now, say that you get yourself in trouble and you're going to go from county to state, all right? Now, the way it's supposed to go is that if you go up to state, everything at the county level is done. If you're on probation or parole, you're done. You do that once you're out through the state level. Well, in Pennsylvania, they've decided to almost hit you with a double jeopardy. And what they'll do is they'll have you do some state time, and then it drops down to the county, and it's sentenced that way. It's called a special probation. And they legitimately will have you do state time and then come back out and do county time so you can screw up and go right back up to the state. Like, it's insane. It's a racket. Like, it's an absolute
why would they
mess.
want to let their meal ticket go? Every one of those people is a paycheck for somebody.
That's it, man. Once they get their hooks into you, that is it.
Yep. It's crazy.
Your best bet is to stay out of the system as much as possible, because once you're in, you're in, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying, I've experienced whatever the pre-crime. It's not quite what it is in the movie Minority Report, but I definitely experienced when I was in the courts in Jersey. They had a federal database that they pull your information from, and your bail judge considers everything you've ever been charged with, even if you've beaten those charges. It's in New Jersey, you get a number.
Yep.
And it's on a number system, plain and simple. It doesn't matter technicalities if you won, lost, or whatever. It's your encounters with police and what those encounters were for. And that's how they figure your bail. That's why my bail was astronomically high. I had a $50,000 cash bond when I was in New Jersey jail.
That's crazy.
And I beat that charge, by the way. But
Get some.
I mean,
Yeah.
this kind of stuff takes that phrase, innocent until proven guilty, and throws it right out the window.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, because they're like, oh, well, you know what? You're guilty of this, so you're definitely going to be guilty of that down the line. So why don't we just go ahead
you're
and nip that in
essentially-
the butt now?
essentially you start serving your time before you're ever sentenced for your crime, because they don't let you get out easily. And now even in our county, in Northampton County in Pennsylvania, if you don't get a bail bondsman right away, the state will let you out, but they're letting you out on something called pretrial services.
Yep.
And what pretrial services is basically the strictest form of probation you've ever heard of, and it's completely government supervised, and you get to pay for it. So
Yep.
not only do you pay to get out of jail, but you're now under government supervision 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You literally have to call in and make sure that you're in certain places at certain times.
Well, Chicago has one of these pre-crime type programs where they flag innocent civilians that haven't been convicted as a crime, but that they've determined through this algorithm that they may be, or may at some time in the future become a threat. They're labeled as such. They're notified that they have been marked as a potential criminal and that they are now under police surveillance. So Chicago is using this type of technology to look
How
at
has
and
the
examine.
ACLU not jumped in on this already and said, like, hold on, you can't just monitor. Well, I guess the Patriot Act kind of blew that out of the water. You can't just monitor American citizens. Well, yeah, you can. Snowden proved that.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've got a whole set of stories on that one later when we come back from the break.
You mentioned the ACLU. Karen Sheely, the director of police practices projects of the American Civil Liberties Union of Illinois, has pointed out that these innocent people are being flagged based on criteria that haven't been publicly established. So the ACLU is on this, but what does the government care? They don't care.
Yeah, it's in one ear, out the other. They're already using the technology. These names are already being added to lists.
Yep.
This doesn't sound very free to me, does it?
No, not at all.
It seems to me like what they're starting is a class system where from the time you're born you will be placed in a certain class, and the government will label you and you won't be able to leave that class.
Do you understand what a birth certificate really is? Okay, a birth certificate is really called a bond certificate. Now, your social security number is actually a tradable stock on the stock market. Look that up. It is
I don't buy into this stuff.
Do you
I don't
realize that
know.
it is, though? Do you realize that it is? Now, okay, you will not be able to buy that back, just letting you know. That whole part is a myth. But legitimately, that's what it is. It is a bond certificate. Everything is bonded in America. That is how it works. You are bonded.
Your collateral.
Yeah.
Your
Collateral for the land.
Your collateral
money.
for them to take out loans from the IMF and from international banks. You are collateral, and
Yep.
what they do is they assign a value to how much they think you're going to earn in tax. You're a tax cow. You live in a tax farm. You live in an open air prison. That's what you live in. You think you're free because you can't see the cages, you can't see the bars, but don't worry, man. They're there.
Oh, yeah.
They're there.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is. And to sit there and think that it doesn't, in their eyes, if you think that this system doesn't make sense, that's where the problem is. Okay? There's enough people out there that see what this is for what it is that they're a little concerned, but there's enough people out there just sheeping along like, oh, no, we really do live in this nice society. Everything's fine. You shouldn't be worried. You know, those people are ridiculous, okay? When you look at it as the fact that we are collateral to the entire way that the world works, to the way that economies are based, that we are collateral for loans so they can do what they want to do. When you look at it that way, no wonder why they have the police so far up our butts. You know, once you
come to the conclusion, once you start sitting down, and you start saying to yourself, "Wow, these things really don't make sense. Once they start to make sense, you inevitably come to the realization that we are all toiling away on the big plantation.
I gotta break in on something real quick. So while we're sitting here, I'm sitting here looking at my Facebook feed, and I just came across something that's seriously scary right now.
Okay,
the person that has been streaming that has had 100,000 views on Facebook just reported 22 minutes ago that his Facebook has stopped working.
Huh.
And suddenly he said in his next post 2 minutes later, the only internet I can get on my phone working right now is Snapchat. And he posted that from Snapchat.
Yo, I'm telling you,
they shut down his internet feed. He said, I'm gonna local record it to my phone and upload Wi-Fi. They can't shut my phone down, just my internet. And that was 18 minutes ago. So right now, in the center of the riots happening, this man has been out there streaming this nonstop since yesterday. They just shut him down. Wait until we see the news on what happens tonight. I bet you they're going to say something broke out.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
be right back after the half. Matt, you have plenty of stories to bring us back in.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to fit right in on this. Stingray
right,
technology,
great.
guys.
We'll be
come
right back.
Hey everybody, are you ready for the launch of the next great era in radio? On November 4th, Liberty News Radio brings you a brand new show to liven up your Friday nights with the Freedom Paradox. Airing every Friday night at 10 p.m., it's going to be jam-packed with a whole new attitude. Starring LRN alumni Matthew Taylor and Severin Freeman.
I have so much I want to say about Freedom Paradox. The direction that we are going in is so exciting. The gloves are finally coming off, and no story is off the table. In the past, my primary focus was on police, but now the focus is on all those that claim to have a higher authority over me than myself.
I'm excited for this because I've felt caged on other projects. I can talk about police activism all day long, but it's never really been my main focus. But you see, because of the Freedom Paradox, the stage is set. Lights, microphone, truth. Everything's about to get real interesting come Friday nights.
Tune in Friday nights at 10 p.m. on LRN.FM.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back to Copblock Radio. This is Matt of Question Your Perception and the Freedom Paradox.
This is Severin Freeman from the Freedom Paradox.
And I'm Niz from FPRN Radio's Disassociation Nation.
So, guys, as we were going out, Severin, you were talking about some crazy stuff there.
I'm always talking about crazy stuff. You have to be more specific.
Well, okay, just the whole way that the conversation was going, that the guy who's been streaming this whole stuff the whole time, that all of his stuff just dropped out, and now the only thing he's able to use is Twitter. And you know what? That's crazy, because earlier today I put
Snapchat.
or Snapchat, my bad. And what's crazy is earlier today I put together some stories, and just how crazy it wraps up into this is insane. And where I want to go with is, are you guys familiar with stingrays?
Mm-hmm.
They're the devices that trick your phone into connecting to them, that the police have to see, I guess, what, your like past text messages and stuff like that.
Oh, it does so much more. Okay, so stingrays, all right, they were initially developed for the military for information gathering, okay? And basically, the Stingray is an IMSI catcher, which basically is a man-in-the-middle device. And basically, what you were saying, Severin, is pretty close to what it does, but it works in two different modes. There's a passive mode, which is like a digital analyzer, which I'll get into what that means, and there's an active mode, which simulates cell capabilities. All right, when it's operating in active mode, the device mimics the wireless carrier, the cell towers, and then basically by force, it takes all the mobile devices and makes it connect to it, which is really freaking scary. So, but when it's in active mode itself, it's able to extract data, so it'll go in and get your metadata. And what that is that's your phone calls. That's where you've gone on the internet with your phone. That's your text messages that can turn on. You can get in and turn on cameras. You can turn on microphones.
This is something that they, obviously need like several search warrants and permits to use, right, Matt?
No. Okay.
Please don't tell me that these guys are just out there sitting on the corner turning these things on, gathering everybody's info, hoping for a hit.
Oh, dude, it does so much more. Like, you think that's where it stops? No. That is nowhere near what it does. Okay, it does so much more. Okay, not only when it turns on, does it identify you by not only your location, like as a GPS, but it will also turn around and it'll display your battery number and it will display your serial number on your phone. Okay, they can install files mobily. So if they wanted to just swing on by and basically install something that just records on your phone that they can just come by and pick up later, they can. But also what they can do is they can force the cell traffic signal up on your phone. So say you're having crap service, but they need to see what's going on with you. They can when you connect to them, they'll bounce the crap out of your service just to make sure that you get whatever they want to see you get. All right? And they can also just turn it off. They can just straight turn it off because you're connected to them. They can stop service to you whenever they want to.
Like possibly what just happened to the man in Charlotte that was streaming all that.
Absolutely.
100,000 views yesterday. Earlier today, he was at like 30,000. He was live in the middle of all of what was happening.
Right. Well, see, go ahead.
There's actually an app called Snoop Snitch that detects these Stingray devices. You can install it on your Android device. And have you used it, Matt? I've never used it. So
I've seen them. I've seen them in use, and there's an app, but the app really doesn't work too well because it's not working on a frequency that picks it up.
No, unfortunately,
it just doesn't do it.
When you're dealing with technology of this sort, the only thing that's foolproof is those cases that actually block all signal from going in and out. But that renders your phone a brick.
Yeah, until you take it out. But see, the Stingray itself, it will force each compatible cellular device in a given area to disconnect from its service provider or cell site, like Verizon or AT&T, and establish a new connection through it. Now, these things can be mounted to vehicles, on airplanes, helicopters. They can go on unmanned aerial vehicles, and they can even have a hand-carried version. Now, what's crazy about this is there's an increasingly large use, and it has been kept secret from the court system and the public. In 2014, police in Florida revealed that they had used such devices at least 200 additional times since 2010 without disclosing it to the courts or obtaining a warrant. That's nuts. That's 200 times that they're willing to admit to that they just straight went outside the law and had no disregard for privacy and just started gaining data.
Fourth Amendment.
Gone.
This is so much deeper than a wiretap without a warrant, though. This is like all your personal info.
Yeah, this is whatever they want to look at, whatever they want to take.
Not just whatever they want to look at, whatever they want to take, but whatever they want to put into your digital possession.
Yep. Now, the use of this device has been frequently funded through grants from the DHS. So Homeland Security is who's giving them this stuff. So, of course, you know exactly where this information is going back to.
Because terrorists, because everybody's scared of terrorists.
Everybody's a terrorist. Well, you know that this stuff is being used.
Meanwhile, I'd like to point out that we had a terrorist attack over the last week. Nobody was killed. The terrorist was captured, or would-be terrorist was captured, and the only people who died over the past week were the civilians that died at the hands of the police.
All of it was shilled. It was all shilled. They were trying to turn around, and they were using that because they saw, whenever there's some sort of uprising that's about to happen somewhere, I swear to God, they do something to try to distract you. This was just another form of distractions.
You think it was a false flag?
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
It was a cherry bomb in a trash can, if I wasn't mistaken, right?
Well, and you can't dismiss the fact that the bomber's father 2 years ago had called the FBI and said, look, there's something not right about my kid. I think that he's planning something. I think he may be involved with terrorists. And the FBI said, don't worry about it. He's a
So
good
that's
kid.
2 acts of terrorism in the last 6 months on American soil that the FBI had the perpetrator in their hands beforehand and let them go.
Well, here's what's crazy, okay?
The first act being the Orlando shootings, by the way.
Well, I was just saying about, how this was all funded by the DHS through here. So you know that there are other organizations that definitely have access to this information. But on top of that, they applied for this grant and got it in 2006 to buy a Stingray for regional terrorism investigations. However, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the LAPD had been using it for just about any investigation imaginable. Like, dude.
Well, if you got a toy, you got to play with it, right, guys?
Oh, every time. There's no way around it.
So let me get this straight. They think the guy on the corner is a drug dealer, so instead of doing actual police work and investigative things, what they do is they park the Stingray truck outside the house, get his cell phone to connect, and get all his data, and then run in and make their arrest.
This is the LAPD, man. They flew a drone over him.
They didn't even bother with the truck.
No, they're like, yo, get the kid. He's gonna go catch another one. That's exactly what it is. But in addition to federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence agencies, Stingrays have in the recent years been purchased by local and state law enforcement agencies. According to the American Civil Liberty Union, 42 law enforcement agencies in 17 states own a Stingray. That's including Pennsylvania and Texas. In November of 2014, Slate reported that at least 46 states and local law enforcements from Sunrise, Florida to Hennepin County, Minnesota, use cell site simulators with a price tag of anywhere from $16,000 to upwards of $125,000 for each unit. That is insane. Well, when we come back, guys,
folks.
Guys, we're gonna jump into somebody a foundation that we talked about in this story. We're actually gonna talk a little bit about the Electronic Frontier Foundation and some of the cool stuff they've been doing for the last 26 years. So when we come back on Copblock Radio, stay tuned for that.
Sam here from JustAQuickTug.com with an exciting new game for you called Swine Time. Play it at home, play it on the go. You can play it while driving or even in the shower. That's right, Fred, you can play this game anywhere. All you need to do to play Swine Time is have a mobile phone, pesky porker in the Swine Time app. After each new photo is uploaded to the donor deck, the player is rewarded with an in-game currency called Bacon Bits. Bacon Bits can be used in real life when you visit the copblock.org/store. So get out there and find yourself some cockroaches and happy snapping.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
During the break, I got a message from Rick from Allentown Copblock. He's following what's going on with the live stream being shut down, and apparently the same time this guy's live stream shut down, Fox News went to a live stream on Facebook. Fox News is reporting live, and they're the only ones on the ground right now, and they're doing their usual media spin on things. So they shut down the independent reporter. Somehow his feed stopped working. After 2 days of streaming, it's been fine. Suddenly it went out.
That's crazy.
And now only the mainstream media is able to report.
Well, before we went on break, I was talking, about stingrays and stuff like that, and I had gotten into talking about the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I really wanted to kind of talk about these guys because, we do activism ourselves, or have in the past done a lot about police activism. Well, these guys are taking activism to a completely different level, and I kind of want to, give them some respect tonight. And so I kind of want to educate our listeners on who they are and what they stand for. So the Electronic Frontier Foundation is an international nonprofit digital rights group based in San Francisco, California. It was founded 26 years ago by Mitch Kapoor, John Perry Barlow, and John Gilmore. Basically, what they do is they provide legal defense in court for things like patent misuse, defense for individual and new patents that may be created to help encourage innovation, but instead they regularly hinder it. The U.S. Patent Office, overwhelmed and underfunded, issues questionable patents every day. Well, there are people out there that are basically like patent trolls, where they buy too many patents and misuse them, basically to shake down companies and also the individual person who comes out with a brand new technology that they might want to, mass produce. Well, they basically provide defense for these guys, and also they'll turn around and stop the people who are basically just trying to impede the advancement of not only the internet but just technology in general. Well, in their beginnings in basically July 1990, there was a series of actions by law enforcement agencies that led them to, the law enforcement agencies were gravely underinformed about emerging forms of online communications, and they were needed for information to basically keep up with all of this. And they saw that there was a lot of confusion going on, and that meant that there was a lot of false arrests that were going on because they had no idea what the hell they were looking at. So they stepped in and saw that there was going to be a need for increased help for internet civil liberties, because there was going to be a lot of people being taken advantage of just out of ignorance of the court. So in their creation of their organization, there was a mass search and seizure on somebody. It was a company called Steve Jackson Games, and it was executed by the United States Secret Service in early 1990. Similar but officially unconnected law enforcement raids were being conducted across the United States at the time. And it was an operation called Operation Sun Devil. Now, Operation Sun Devil was a 1990s nationwide United States Secret Service crackdown on illegal computer hacking activity, and it involved raids that happened in about 15 different cities. Well, when all this happened, Jackson Games Corporation was involved in it. And it actually spawned some pretty decent laws that came off of it that actually helped the underdogs these days against the government coming against them. So what's going on here is that there's a legal case that resulted from the raids in 1990 from the United States Secret Service on the Austin headquarters of the Stephen Jackson Games in 1990, along with the Operation Sun Devil. The Stephen Jackson raid was one of the series of independent and law enforcement operations that were influenced basically the start of the foundation. So this trial, they provided the money for the legal team, and from this case, not only did they turn around and win and were awarded $50,000 in just damages and $250,000 in attorney fees, but then also their third charge that they had and they were found guilty of was actually overturned in 94. And to this day, if you turn around and look this up in official records, it actually has written with it that there is no comment on it. And the court system themselves, when they got up to the appeal, actually reprimanded the Secret Service and told them that everything they did was sloppy. But recently, these guys have done some pretty cool work when they took on the NSA. Do you guys know anything about these guys?
No, I mean, this you're telling me now is the first time that I've ever heard anything about the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
Okay, well, they recently took on the NSA.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at their site right now, and on their on the right hand side of their site, they have that they're leading the fight against the NSA's illegal mass surveillance program.
Yeah, well, if anybody has been living under a rock and have no idea what's been going on, the U.S. government, with assistance from major telecommunication carriers, including AT&T, has engaged in massive illegal dragnet surveillance of domestic communications and communication records of millions of ordinary citizens since at least 2001. Since this was first reported by the press and discovered by the public in late 2005, the EEF has been at the forefront of the effort to stop and bring down the government surveillance programs and bring it back to inside the law and Constitution. In early 2006, EEF obtained whistleblower evidence in a PDF file from former AT&T technician Mark Klein, showing that AT&T is cooperating with the illegal surveillance. The undisputed document shows that AT&T installed a fiber optic splitter at its facilities at 611 Folsom Street in San Francisco that makes copy of all email, web browsing, and other internet traffic to and from AT&T customers and provides these copies to the NSA. The copy includes both domestic and international internet activities from AT&T customers. As one expert observed, this isn't a wiretap, this is a country tap. Like, that's insane what's going on right there. And this is what they're fighting against. Secret government documents published to the media in 2013 by that was confirmed NSA obtains full copies of everything that carries along at any major domestic fiber optic cable network. So it basically, it showed that they record everything. This right now, recording. But in June 2013, when Edward Snowden spoke out with The Guardian and The Washington Post, it just started a massive information dump and started showing everybody what's been going on and what they do with your metadata and how no matter what you're doing at any time, you are under surveillance. Like, it just proved 1984 is well on its way to happening now.
All of this in the name of defending and protecting against terrorism. And all I have to say about that is this. Number one, you can't trade liberty for security because you'll end up with neither. And number two, all of this money spent, all of this liberty given, usurped, given, taken away, and we have the Boston bombing, we have the Fort Hood shooting, we have the LAX bombing, we have the Orlando, we've got
well, we'll be
New
back.
Jersey, New York.
Hi, I'm Sam from blowitup.com. Are you a member of a small law enforcement department? Do you feel jealous, inferior, and sometimes angry when your neighboring town gets a Bearcat or a grenade launcher? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's time to level the playing field with the dick measuring contest. Recent federal government regulations have allowed for federal tax dollars to buy even your small department as much military gear as you guys can handle carrying. No need for training, low crime rate, or anything like that to hold you back. Here at blowitup.com, our motto is when it comes to officer safety, it's best to blow something up rather than question it. We have an array of blast range packages from He's Coming Right For Us to shock and awe. Get on over to blowitup.com and feel safe again.
Yeah, welcome back to Copblock Radio. This is Matt of Question Your Perception.
This is Severin from Question Your Perception.
And Niz from FPRN Radio's Disassociation Nation.
Yeah, what's up, guys? So we had just talked about the EEF and how they were, getting into some of the stuff that the NSA has been doing, and what all got released with Edward Snowden, and it's mind-boggling. I know, Niz, you said that you had talked about this on your show on Monday, and that you've got some stuff here.
We did. I went through because my big question was, there's an awful lot of money. Since 2001, we've been spending an awful lot of money on security. Well, on the illusion of security, and we've been, as a nation of people, we have been giving up freedom, and the government has been usurping liberty without consent. And it just seems like we're not getting our money's worth, because every time they say just a little bit, listen, we're sorry that the Boston bombing happened, but if you give us just a little bit more money, if you give us just a little bit more of your freedom, we promise this won't happen again. And then it happens again. And then they come out with the same spiel, a little bit more money, a little bit more freedom, and it goes on and on and on. And my big question for the show on Monday night was, when are people going to wake up and realize that there is no trade? You cannot trade money and liberty for security. It doesn't work that way. But I did have some statistics here, some numbers. The United States has spent more than $7.6 trillion on defense and Homeland Security since the attacks on September 11th. Total Homeland Security spending since September 11th of 2001 is roughly $635.9 billion with a B. And it's estimated that NSA surveillance carries a price tag in excess of $20 billion a year. Now, I say estimated because the NSA's annual budget is classified, and you're not allowed to know how much they spend. So that's
Are you serious?
Serious, yes.
How did they pull that off?
Well, because they don't care about you, what you think.
Well, okay, you know what? But there is some crazy things that they've spent this money on. Like, have you guys heard of Prism?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Prism is really scary. It's a clandestine surveillance program which the NSA uses to collect internet communications from at least 9 major U.S. companies and so many more. But we're talking like the main internet service providers. It's not just like a small company. We're talking things like Facebook, Facebook where everybody's on Facebook. And, you've got that one friend who's like, yeah, I'm not on Facebook. And you sit there, you're like, wow, this person's insane. But at the same time, they make a really good point. Facebook's a scary thing. But then they sit there and they're on their cell phone and they're texting. So you're like, you know what? You're just as much under surveillance.
You're caught anyway.
Yeah. It's like unless you're sending smoke signals and like walking around with a sheet and not in a racist way, you are on camera everywhere. Yeah. So, and you're under surveillance. Well, anyways, the United States government since 2001 have been using these programs to just widen their scope of just surveillance everywhere. And PRISM is a government code name for basically a data collection effort that it collects the stored internet communication based on demands made into the internet companies such as Google and stuff like that through what's called the FISA Corp. Now, or FISA Court. Now, this is a really ridiculous amendment that happened in 2008. Okay, basically, it gave under the Patriot Act, it gave the ability for the NSA or Homeland Security to basically be able to use programs like this to look at whatever the heck they wanted anywhere on anything. Emails, cell phone pictures, whatever they wanted they could look at. And all they had to do was basically do it. And the FISA court looked at it later and gave it a rubber stamp. All it said somewhere on there was just some generic statement, and they could look at whoever they wanted to as much as they wanted to.
Well, and it's not just that they could look at whoever they wanted to, however much they wanted to. It's that all of this information is being collected and it's being filtered through algorithms. And then once something like let's say that you type up something like I'm gonna I'm going to commit this act, then it flags it. And once it flags it, then an actual flesh and blood person pulls that and goes back and looks through all your records and stuff.
Yep.
And here's the key thing to remember about this, Matt, is that the amount of money that's being spent, there's only 2 reasonable explanations.
Well,
and first of all, you have to remember that the government is listening, watching, reading, and analyzing everything.
You're missing the point, though. You're missing this, okay? Understand that when they look at you, that's a really light term for what happens. A very light term, because here's what actually happens. So say you've turned around and you've hit their scope, which I'm sure we all have, because there's nobody who hasn't. And I'm going to explain to you why. All right? When you hit their radar, what ends up happening is that they look into you, but they don't just look into you. They look into everybody that you have contact with. They look into the people you work with. They look into the people that you talk to, the people that you associate with on Facebook, all of this.
And they play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Right. And they do this all the way up to where by the time that they're officially done looking into you, they could have referenced up to 2.3 million different people, because they have to do the same thing with each one of the people that you are in contact with to make sure that you're not a part of some freaking organization that they want to attach you to.
Okay, so that goes back to my point that at any time that a terrorist attack happens within the continental United States, you have to understand that they knew.
Oh yeah. There's no way around it.
They knew.
Oh yeah.
They have to have known, or else all this money and all this infrastructure has been wasted. If they didn't know, then you'd have to admit that these programs are a complete failure and a total waste of money. Because you can't have it both ways. Either the money is being well spent and they knew, or it's being wasted and they didn't know.
But the problem is most people in this country are a bunch of sheep that watch the news, that are scared of terrorism still, that really believe that the next terrorist attack is right around the corner, and they happily pay these outrageous sums of money to feel safe inside.
Do you want me to blow your mind?
Please do.
Do you want me to blow your mind?
Please
You
do.
are statistically, in the United States, you are statistically more likely to die from slipping and falling in your bathtub. You are statistically more likely to die from falling out of bed. You are statistically more likely to die from autoerotic asphyxiation
Get some.
than you are to die in a terrorist attack. And yet we
Amen.
don't have a giant infrastructure to protect us from slipping and falling in the
That's
bathtub.
because our brave boys in the uniform are overseas stopping them before they can get us.
Do you understand though? But like he makes a point. All right, more people die from spicy boy bites, which spicy boys, formerly known as fire ants. More people die of that every year than a terrorist attack in the United States. Like it's not a real phenomena here.
Yeah, and where is the $685.2 billion infrastructure
So where's the
to protect
motivation?
Americans from fire ants?
Where's the
Yep.
motivation for all these mainstream media to keep drilling this terrorism narrative?
So
What is the
Charlotte, North
motivation?
Carolina has now declared a state of emergency.
Have they?
Yes, they have. It
As
has
of-
officially been launched as of, I believe, 10 minutes ago.
Wow. And how long ago was it that
That'd
we
be
just reported that feed ended? Didn't I say watch what happens? Watch what something was about to break out.
That was right.
Called
That was
it.
right before 11. Then what do? We talked about government surveillance and the things they could do, and now look what's happening. They shut down his feed, and now they're declaring a state of emergency. So they can go in there, and there's not going to be live video. They can turn around and they can delete whatever they need to, and Americans won't know about what really went down tonight there in North Carolina.
Anybody on the street is getting whooped and getting caged. That's what's going down tonight.
Yep.
Anybody. I don't care if you're peaceful, if you're standing there with a camera. It doesn't matter. Once the military moves in, you're getting taken up. You're getting rounded up.
Yep.
And put on large buses reminiscent of days with the Nazis.
FEMA camps.
Yep. It's coming, guys. It's coming.
Why do
How
we have
many times have they called
293
National
camps?
Guard now in the last 6 months?
Why do we have
How many towns?
Why do we have 293 camps built around the country with nobody sitting in them, but they look like jails? Who knows? When we come back on Copblock Radio.
Yeah.
Copblock Radio. We are back, and hey, this is Matt of Question Your Perception. Hey guys, I want to talk to you guys about the SoundCloud out there. I know we got a bunch of you guys who listen over there. I want to let you know that you've heard, tonight that this is going to be our last episode of Copblock Radio, and I want to tell you guys where you can find us. If you just hop on over to thefreedomparadox.org, all of our streams will be over there, so you can download it, you can listen to it live, but our podcast is going to be moving to the Freedom Paradox over on the interwebs. So
Yeah. It's not hosted by SoundCloud anymore. It'll be hosted directly from the web host from the website.
so do not fret.
All you got to do is go to thefreedomparadox.org and click on the radio show tab, and you will get all the information, past shows, current shows, live shows, links.
All the shows.
All the shows you can handle.
Yep. Oh, that's right, because this isn't going to be the only show on there, is it? Oh, did I just drop some bombs? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Dropping some bombs here tonight. Yeah, just letting you guys know. We're not going to break that news just yet of who and what we have going on there, but that's right. The Freedom Paradox is definitely not going to be the only show broadcasting and showing shows off of the website. So make sure that you guys check out the other shows that start popping up there as well.
Yeah, we actually already had one. You put a post up on the other show you do Monday nights.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you said you had another story there, Severin.
Yeah, I wanted to end on a wild story. We touched on the New Jersey weed man case.
Oh yeah.
About Edward Fortune out of Trenton, New Jersey, and the harassment he's been dealing with. I just did
Which is like a lot.
Yeah, which is a whole lot. I mean, they are just sending him tickets every day now. And so I was looking up this story because I did a bunch of research on it because I wrote this up for the Freedom Paradox.
Okay.
And I came across today a big update to this story.
Okay, lay it on us.
One of the head cops that was involved in the harassment there.
What's his name?
Laparty.
Laparty, okay.
I believe that's his name. Well, anyway, one of the head cops that was involved there just committed suicide today.
Oh.
Yeah, Ed Laparty is his name. What
Guilt-
happened was
Guilt's a son of a...
the news just broke the new story yesterday and this morning that he was caught on the job, on the clock, in uniform, having sex with prostitutes.
Oh, man. Marriage, gone. Job,
Marriage
gone.
Exactly.
Kids
So
like,
the
Dad, you
pressure-
suck.
The pressure just totally went to him, and the prosecutor found out a few hours later that he killed himself.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I guess you probably shouldn't have been a douche. Was
Yeah,
that too
I mean,
hard? Was that too harsh too soon? My
I
bad.
feel bad for the kids that just lost a dad, but I mean, he lived a life of abusing people and hurting people, and even abusing his authority by obviously sleeping with prostitutes. It was, I doubt there was money exchanged. It was probably more of a, I'm a cop, better listen to me or I'll bust you.
Yeah, that sounds
give
more
it to me or
realistic.
you're going to jail.
Yeah. So this guy, let's not pretend he was an innocent a boy in blue, one of the good ones.
Hey, you know what? Let's just be real, though. You know, if this system, this magical system that they're trying to build, this dragnet of information and everything that they want to build, the AIs that they're talking about, the pre-recognition of crimes, all this stuff that they're working on now comes into play in the utopian society that they're attempting to build through force. Just remember, they're gonna weed these guys out too. But until then, it's up to us because we're all caught in this freaking dragnet. Like I don't see a way out of it. I hope somebody finds a way for us to get out of it. But as you see it all coming together in one big swoop, you start to understand that right now, these cops, the government understands that they're a broken part of the system. And so they're desperately trying to fix it in a different way, through technology, through ways that they can control as opposed to do it by force. They want to do it by making it to where people just don't realize that it's happening anymore. And until they can figure that out, they have this archaic system of having other people armed and to just lord over people and make sure that they act according to a set of rules until they can figure out just how to program the entire world to just act the way that they want them to act. Like it's a scary scenario, but
so
you can see the writing on the wall.
Before we run out of time, I just want to address anybody who has been following our live coverage of what's happening on the ground in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is breaking out right now. Fox News is reporting on the ground. The police are. I just witnessed the police carrying away an injured officer. They are putting up a barrier, and the people are breaking down the police barrier and moving forward. The media are running away right now along with the police.
Get some.
It is going down right now in Charlotte. It is about to break out. The police are retreating from the crowd as I'm watching this.
Yeah, I'm on it too. What video cannot be played? Don't you dare talk. Oh, man.
Oh, they're
this
throwing
video's-
bottles. They're throwing bottles and rocks at the cops, too.
Where are you
Wow,
watching
so-
this, man?
Ricardo Gonzalez, our buddy, just shared it 9 minutes ago.
Okay.
Fox 5 DC live video.
Well, as we sit here and we watch this, let's make sure that we talk about our project coming up here and how this is the last episode of Copblock Radio until the new year. Now, everybody who likes to tune in, don't worry. We're going to have syndicated episodes. You're going to hear our great episodes over this last year. We're going to have those replayed, so you're going to have something to listen to. But once the new year comes back around, don't worry. Copblock Radio's coming back. It's going to come back strong with Ademo Freeman and Josh Hoskins. They're going to, pick up the torch and keep this show rolling. But Severin Freeman and I, we're going to be heading over to Friday nights, and we're going to have this awesome new show. It's called The Freedom Paradox. We're going to basically be dropping the shackles of everything that's been going on with, the way that we feel about accountability and our movements. And take it away from just being about police anymore. We're going to take it to a larger scale. Really talk about the stuff that's been bothering us, and not just leave it to just this limited small section of what's really wrong with our country.
I want to point out that we're going to do a lot more than talk, though, because this is where we've been focused. We do this stuff. We fight actively. We don't just go out and record cops. We go to city council meetings. We've gone to protest outside police stations. We've chalked things. We've filmed cops. We've name it. We've done it to fight for justice in our area. So we want to just reflect that and really just follow the charge of justice over here in the East Coast and address the things that are threatening our freedom.
And you're still going to have great guests on, like me and Paul.
Absolutely. We plan on having a rotating. It's going to be me and Matt, and rotating third seat. You guys will be on a regular basis. We're going to have a few more surprise guests that we're going to be ironing out over the next month. But we will be coming back hard, definitely coming back strong with awesome content.
On November 4th at 10 p.m. on Friday nights, it is the Freedom Paradox. That's right. You can use that. You can use that. We can go live with that.
Are you going to Bipcot your broadcast?
Oh, God, yeah. We're going to bip it. We're going to bip it hard.
Bipcot it.
Bipcot.
I'm gonna actually talk to Michael Fiend and see if we can Bipcot our entire web page.
You
Because
absolutely can.
we're more than just a podcast. We actually have been blogging about all the activism that we've been doing and some stories, some of the bigger stories we've been following around the country. And so you can go to the page right now and find all that content.
Yep, but I could guarantee that you are going to be able you would be able to Bipcot that. Bipcot license.
Yeah, I want everything on that page Bipcot it. I want any government agent that uses it to be publicly shamed and flogged.
That's right. Tarred and feathered.
Tarred and feathered. Yep, there you go.
Why is you here?
I'm just cracking up watching this coverage because this Fox News correspondent is like a year into. He's a year into college, probably. He looks like he's practically a high school student.
Yeah, this isn't a normal reporter. This was like Gus, the kid from the mailroom. They're like, "Yo, put a camera in his with him, and take the guy that sorts everything, and you two go out and get out there because we ain't losing somebody real."
Crap! Nobody wants to go out there. Who can we get to go out there?
We're coming up to the end of the show. I want to get a chance to say, you know what? I love all the fans of this show. I love the audience. I hope you guys follow us over to our new show. I mean, I've really grown to appreciate being able to reach everybody and talk to people in this format.
Absolutely. And I want to go ahead and say thank you out to Copblock. You guys have been great. You gave us a really good, voice to be able to and ability to tell people about the things they needed to learn about. But hey, everybody, I am Matt from Question Your Perception.
I am Severin from the Freedom Paradox.
And I'm Niz from FPR and Radio's Disassociation Nation. Catch us every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
You are applying.
Hey everybody, are you ready for the launch of the next great era in radio? On November 4th, Liberty News Radio brings you a brand new show to liven up your Friday nights with the Freedom Paradox. Airing every Friday night at 10 p.m., it's going to be jam-packed with a whole new attitude. Starring LRN alumni Matthew Taylor and Severin Freeman.
I have so much I want to say about Freedom Paradox. The direction that we are going in is so exciting. The gloves are finally coming off and no story is off the table. In the past, my primary focus was on police, but now the focus is on all those that claim to have a higher authority over me than myself.
I'm excited for this because I've felt caged on other projects. I can talk about police activism all day long, but it's never really been my main focus. But you see, because of the Freedom Paradox, the stage is set. Lights, microphone, truth. Everything's about to get real interesting come Friday nights.
Tune in Friday nights at 10 p.m. on LRN.FM.